you all doing? Well, I'm just making this little video because I continuously talk to myself. I don't know if anyone else does. Like in my head, you know, not like out loud, you know, like nah. Yeah. I just want to talk about a couple of little things, really, just life in general. You know, about work, you know, stuff like that, really. Might help someone out, might not. I don't really know. But let's talk a little bit about work. Yeah. I'm a painter and decorator. Yeah, I love getting up at 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, it's beautiful. Can't wait. But you know, getting in the car, driving to the station. If that's if I, to be fair, that's if I basically take the train, like a tube, drive to the tube station, get on the tube, London Underground it is, because that's where I am. I mean, well, little place called Essex. You might know it's called Arlo, or Arlo, as a lot of people like to say. Yeah. And then you get on the open air nut house, which is the London Underground, of course. But it's not so bad. It's a living. And money's not bad. We all want a little bit more money, don't we, really? Don't matter what we do, you know. And why is it always about money all the time? That's what I can't work out. Well, yeah, Babylonian magic money, right? You know, it's worth nothing. You know, it's not backed up by anything. There's no, oh, here I go. That's a different meeting on a different day. Yeah, Babylon magic money. But I work with a good group of lads. Well, it's only a couple of us. You know, I work for a geezer. He's all right. It's more like a mate, really. You know. And I suppose we're going to talk about it a lot, but I met him in sobriety, so I'm 14 years sober now. Well, 15 years sober from a drink, so that ain't getting too bad. And I met the guy in AA. Yeah, that's a different story for a different day. I'm trying to just keep my mind on work. You know, a lot of outsides, a lot of insides. I can't work this out. Anyone in the game. Why is it always you get inside work in the summer, and why does always everyone want their house painted outside in the winter? Couldn't anyone drop a thing in the comments and tell me why that is? Seems a bit backward to me, but hey. Oh yeah, got a great one, Dale. It's -4, and I want the outside of my barn painted. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, it's 85 degrees out there, and can you do my bathroom without any ventilation? Yeah, of course I can, yeah. But hey, go where the money goes. I suppose I moan a lot about travelling as well, to be fair. No one likes travelling, I know, but when you've got to get in your motor and do 80 mile there, 80 mile back, yeah, it's a lot of mileage, you know. And I don't know if you've actually seen the roads lately, wherever abouts in the world you are. But as I said, I'm in the UK. Yeah, lovely country. Anyway, yeah, M25, because that's mainly the route. Yeah, Britain's biggest car park, we all know that. You know, certain times of the day, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Well, I do get it, but yeah, okay, look, Maid's telling me again, different story for a different day. So I'm just trying to keep my mind on work, and try not to repeat myself, because there's nothing worse, is there, really? I might verge into a couple of other things as well, to be fair. You know, money. Let's talk money. Babylonian magic money. You know, I don't get paid badly. I'm mine on a bad wage. You know, probably on a lot more money than what other people are, to be fair. I don't know how people do it, because I'm a single guy and I live on my own. And I've got my little dog Lily. You'll meet her later. She's pretending to be asleep on the settee. She's got her own channel, to be fair. So I'll put that one up a bit later as well. I just want to see how this really goes, really, to be fair. Yeah, I'm a single guy. I live on my own. And why am I skint? Well, I ain't skint. You know what I mean? I'm not skint, but no, I ain't really. You know, I've got a little bit in crypto. I've got a little bit of other stuff in other commodities. I'm not talking thousands here. I'm only talking a couple of grand. So, you know, I ain't like got a load of dough. I ain't. But I just wonder how these people do it. Honestly, I really do. It's got to be on a never, never, right? They've got to tick themselves up. You know what I mean? They've got to be just in debt, like, all the time. You know, because I see these... I had a neighbour once, right? Lovely they were. You know, I mean, he just worked in a factory normal. She never worked. They had 2 kids, dude. 2 kids, right? Brand new 50-inch TVs and that. I'm a single guy. What is going on? I don't know. I really don't know. But, yeah, well, yeah, you know, everything's going up, as we know. Yeah, wonder why. That's a different kettle of fish as well, you know. Yeah, so, you know, I get paid weekly as well, which ain't too bad. You know, I ain't got to wait a month. You know, money's in the bank every Friday, so I can't grumble about that. You know, and then paying the bills. You know, I mean, let's take it. Like, basically, I work 5 days. And, you know, my travels, well, depending where I work, it can be anywhere between, what, 60 to 120 pound a week. Let's just travel, let's just get to work, you know. That's like, so let's narrow it down. I work 5 days a week. Let's take a day out, a day of that money to get work. Then you've got your tax to pay out of that, 20%. All right, I'll get tax-free bait, but you know, I ain't one of these what keeps receipts or anything like that. I ain't got my own company, you know. But it gives me holiday money. It gives me what, about 2.5k a year. So you could say, oh yeah, oh, you don't get holiday pay. Well, I do. You know, because I get 2.5 grand in my pocket every April. You know, and I tend to go abroad with that. You know, I like to do a bit of travelling as well. That come up in a later one as well, where I travel to. Yeah, I'm good. Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Sri Lanka. I've been to Russia. I don't care what you say about the Russians. I've been there. Been to Ukraine. Yeah, we could go there. Yeah, whatever. Hungary, Estonia. Yeah, I've been to a few places. And Mexico, which is quite cool. And that's what it pays for. You know, it pays for them. So that ain't too bad. You know, work's all right. You know the worst thing about my job, if I'm honest, it's not the work that I do. It's the environment and the people I work with or work, yeah, beside sometimes. You know, other trades, for instance. You know, I could go on another rant about something else, but you know, no, I ain't gonna go there. It's no point really. You know, I'll probably get tagged up on my first name. Yeah. Maybe this might monetise, it might not, don't know, depends how it goes really. But yeah, so a day of my money goes on travel. Let's say another day of my money goes on just everyday bits and bobs, you know, shopping for the week. You know, dog food, all that. I mean, I don't drink. I don't smoke. Well, I'm trying to give up. I'm trying to give up 6. I've given up the vape. I don't know what's in them things. That poison, man. So I ain't smoked cigarettes for a couple of days. Well, roll-ups. But I'm on them little pouch things you put in your mouth, which ain't too bad. So, right, so all right, there you go. I'm saving already, right? I'm saving, what, 40 quid a week? Really, on tobacco, you know? Well, not that I really smoked that much, I didn't. So, right, so 2 days' money, really, it's gone on food, bills, well, food, electric, and travel. 2 days' money. So I'm only really left for 3. You know. Well, rent, electric, you know, that's what, another. I'm only, if you really put it down to it, in my pocket, I'm only probably really getting 2 days' money out of 5, you know. I get paid weekly, so that's quite grateful. Said that about 3 times, haven't I? But it doesn't really matter. So I thought I'd just jump on here and just chat about stuff, really. Because, again, as I said in the beginning, I'm just continuously talking to myself in my own head. So I thought, what can I do? How about talking to a camera about? There you go. Talk to a camera. See what we get, you know. You know, there's other things I want to talk about as well. You know, I'm just trying to call it, you know, life and living it. Isn't it? You know, I do quite a bit of yoga, meditation. As you can see, I've got the old shrine behind me. You know, if I keep that flow state going, that's quite alright. I can go a bit off the edge, you know, with the recovery and stuff. Been doing it 15 years, 14 years. Yoga, Ashtanga, by the way, if anyone wants to know. Yeah, it's quite cool, it's quite spiritual. I've been doing it for 15 years. And basically, I've only really now come to understand how it actually calms me. It calms my head, you know. You know, I've been doing it for 14 years on and off. Give it up for a year, give it up for a couple of years. Got bang into Buddhism. You know, I know I'm going off the subject about work and stuff. But it's probably quite hard to sit here for 20 odd minutes and talk about work. I don't really want to talk about work, if I'm honest. You know. But just trying to put it into this perspective, you know. Everything's just so expensive. Anyway, just get there. Look, I'm going off on one again. I'm just trying to keep it on I'm just trying to keep it on work because I want to talk about yoga and stuff in a different cast. I might as well just talk about it all the time, and just talk about general life, really. You know. Yeah, yoga's quite good. Yeah, because I give that off, and I took up Buddhism for about 7 years. I become a lay Buddhist. Yeah, practicing every day, you know, 40-minute practice. And then I went to a lot of silent retreats, which was quite cool. But I give up the yoga, you know. And, you know, I'm just talking about how I stand today. But, which is cool. Which is pretty cool. You know, I'm just going to talk and I ain't even going to edit it. I'm just going to bang this up on YouTube and just see where it goes. Someone might get something out of it. You know what I mean? It saves me talking to myself for the rest of the night, to be honest, if I can just go. Yeah, the Buddhism was good. And then, you know, we all go into bad habits, right? You know, and it's just my sobriety as well. That could be hard work, to be fair. Oh yeah, that's about right. Yeah, trust me to start a video with about 30% of battery left. Didn't actually realise, did I? So I'm probably going to cut this down if it don't run out. Hopefully I can just do 20 minutes. Trust me, I know I should have just plugged my phone in before I done this. So I'm probably going to be sitting here talking to a camera and it's probably just going to go off and I'm going to have to do it all again. But hopefully not. Hopefully we can get round it. You know, if it just hangs out for probably about another 6 minutes, I'll be happy. Because I've got the dinner cooking. So I've got like 20 minutes, right? Well, no, obviously time's gone. I've got 20 minutes left on my dinner to cook in the oven. So I'm doing the old balancing act. You know what I mean? When this goes, boom, my dinner's ready. Yeah, man. Hello, darling. Want to come and say hello? No? Want to come and say hello? No? It's Lily, by the way. Yeah, I know when she will be up. When Daddy gets the dinner out. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? I'm sidetracking again. See what I mean? See? Man. Yeah. You know, I'm going to put this in there as well. You know, I'm quite controversial in how I think and how I feel about about life. You know, and about this so-called planet. If you think it's actually round or flat, yeah, I'm one of them. No, I'm not flat earther, but hey, who knows? Do you know what I mean? Who knows? You know, it could be this, could be that, could be flat, could be round. Who cares? I ain't going to be able to afford a space rocket to go up there and have a look anyway. So what's the point in getting on that one? You know what I mean? But you know, just started the world lately, eh? Mate, what's going on? Well, I've got a good idea what's going on, but I ain't gonna spill the beans just yet. You know, I've got a lot of theories. Yeah, a lot of theories, to be honest. But yeah. Where was I, man? I was talking about yoga for a bit, wasn't I? And then I was talking about work. What else was I going to talk about? Oh man. Oh, sobriety. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's hard work though. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I ain't had a drink for 15 years, 15 years. I'm not gonna lie. I have relapsed on the old marijuana, the old Mary Jane. I ain't gonna lie. But you know, I'm going good, going strong now for a few months now, a couple of months. I think, yeah, I think so like that. Yeah. See, when I smoke, that stuff just brings a man down, man. It brings me down. You know, but you don't realise that it's actually bringing you down. When it's actually bringing you down, don't realise it until you pop out the other end. You're like, hey man, where was I? Where was I on that one? Yeah, that's crazy. But you know, it could be worse. A lot of other things out there that you can get addicted to. Trust me. And I think I've been through the list as well. Not that I'm promoting it, but I ain't denying it. You know. It could be a whole lot worse, but then again, it could be a whole lot better. And you know, at the end of the day, I think you know you just got to try and do the best with what you got. You know, I ain't got a lot, but I try and do the best with what I got. If that makes sense. You know, and you know, you can do the blame game as well. You know, you can blame life, you can blame everything, but hey, man, you've only got yourself to blame at the end of the day. You know, you're the one. You know, it's you and your ego, right? It's your ego's not your amigo, yeah? You know, good bit. And you know, with all this social media, I don't do social media, by the way. No, I do a little bit on Instagram, but I don't do a lot. I do quite watch a lot bit of YouTube, but is that social media? I don't know. But at least I want to watch what I want to watch, you know? And sometimes YouTube, and I'm not knocking YouTube, but you know, I don't know what. Oh, anyway, I won't go there. There's no point. Really ain't no point, Del. Yeah, see. But you know, I can actually smell my dinner burning a bit, and you know, I'm not gonna go quite yet. You know. Yeah, really, life's life, right? You know, life's what you make it. I never heard it on that one. Oh, you know, I always used to cope that one off. You know what I mean? Life's what you make it. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, with the government this and the government that and that, and it's But you know what? I ain't gonna lie. But life is actually really what you make it. You know, you can't blame others really. You can only blame yourself. You know, and you can get into that. Oh, what am I trying to say, man? You can just keep digging the hole, can't you? You know? Just stop digging the hole. Start filling it back in. You know, I just try my best, really. It could be a whole lot better, it could be a whole lot worse, but hey, you know. And I'll leave you with a little quote. I got it out of a film, really, but I can't help but say it. You know, all the heavens and all the hells are within inside you. How true is that, man? It's true, isn't it, though? Isn't it? You know, I don't know about you, but I'm just in continuous battle with myself at times. You know, the only person you can really trust, trust and count on, right, is yourself. Right? You know. So you've got to love yourself first before you love anyone else. Because if you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. I've been there, tried that, done that, got the t-shirt, you know. But do you know what? It never worked? Because I never loved myself in the beginning. Yeah, look, see? We started off with talking about work and now we're talking about loving ourselves. But love thy neighbour as thy neighbour will love us, right? Anyway. I'm just going to throw this up on YouTube and see where it goes. Goes anywhere, it goes somewhere. If it don't, it don't. But you know, I'd rather talk to a camera than myself. But then I'm actually talking to myself with a picture on the camera, right? No, it could be worse. Anyway, on that note, I'll leave you and love you and leave you. Namaste.